Recorded live from their studio in Los Angeles, California, it's Brett and Alex in the Super Beard Show. This week, the news, a short conversation about the nature of free will. And, as always, Patreon presents Fan Q&A. The date is October 28th, 2022. Support this podcast at patreon.com/superbeardbros. My name is Ted Coonrod. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11 of the Super Beard Show. That's right, we're here. It's Alex and Brett and Ted's over there. This episode's called Pushing Through the Tummy Ache by Jacob. Name the episode. Shout outs to Jacob.
Thanks for naming the episode after what it's like to actually listen to the show.
Yeah, Pushing Through the Tummy Ache. That's the most common experience that unites every beard bro.
Right, that's real.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Episode 11. Can you believe it? Look how far we've come.
Not as impressive as episode 10.
No?
No, because you get to 10 like, wow, good job, milestone. Episode 11 is like, you guys are still here?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you guys feel like podcasters now that this is 11?
Let me be real with you. I felt like a podcaster for some time.
Right.
Okay, well, you don't count.
Right.
I don't count.
He wasn't talking to you, Alex.
Yeah.
No, I don't. And I doubt I ever will.
What about the rest of you guys?
What do you mean, Ted? Are you asking Ted?
Oh, no, not Ted. Ted doesn't count.
Ooh, get on.
No, just kidding. I do. I consider it's weird. Like I say that I'm a YouTuber because I think still more YouTube videos come out per week than podcasts come out per week.
From you, yeah.
Yeah, but it's getting there. It's getting close.
Really?
Yeah.
How many podcasts do you put out a week?
Like 1 to 2, but they're like quite long compared to.
That's still more videos.
Yeah, but like 20 minutes, you can watch 3 videos and you're like not even to the end of this podcast.
This is why statistics are important. You got to be specific.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, let's jump into trying it out. I don't know what the news is. I used to do the Dex podcast, and it's just without thinking about it, this is the exact same intro that I used to do for the news section in the Dex podcast, which was about Pokemon news.
Right. I remember.
Yeah, but this week, I for the news, I wanted to say, what are you going to be for Halloween? I want to ask everybody.
Wow.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
Not so much news as it is, give me the news that you have.
It's icebreaker. What's news with you?
That's not what that means.
Hey, what's the news? What's new with Brett?
Okay, I see.
What are the new things that Brett is into?
Lisa and I not even every year, it's like we constantly think of like, that'd be a great costume for the two of us.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like we were watching the new Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series. There's these new creatures called, I think they're brother and sister. They look like almost like little children of the corn, or what's not children of the corn, but the other one, creepy kids. There's 12 of them in the small town, and they have psychic powers. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
they're all platinum blonde.
Yeah, they're called like the kids or something.
It's something like that. Yeah. Anyway, there's 2 kids that look like that in overalls, and they have monogram letters on their overalls, so you know their names. And the girl's named Lily, and the boy's named Todney. And they're each cockeyed in the opposite eye from each other.
Amazing.
And they talk about family. And they go, I think we should talk about family. Don't you think, Todney? And then Todney's like, yes, I do. Like these husky, terrible voices for 2 like child puppets.
Yeah.
And I think they're disturbing and beautiful. And I'm like, man, we should go as Lily and Todney for Halloween.
Yeah.
And Lisa's like, yes, we never fucking dress up. Never.
Yeah. We talk about it all year.
You know why? Because it's a fucking, like, who is it for? Right? Ultimately,
the kids.
What about where are we gonna go with children, Alex?
I mean, I don't know. Do they come to you?
No.
They
Not
in that neighborhood?
They don't come around to me.
That seems like a fairly walkable neighborhood.
It's very well. My street's kind of shitty because of the traffic.
That's true. It's like a throughway.
Like any street in any direction, I'd be totally fine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But my street just happens to be one with all the traffic. That being said, I don't know if kids come around like my neighborhood at all. Certainly not my street. That being said, my question still stands. Like if I did dress up, it'd be all this, it's a question of efficiency, man. The idea that I have in my head, I'll sit there with Lisa and be like, wouldn't it be funny if? Wouldn't it be great if we did this? And then we sit there and think about it. We have a good laugh. And that's it. Because that's essentially all that would be happening if we actually put in the effort to and money and time to make these costumes.
You'd just be sitting on the couch next to each other as Todd and
even
Lily.
if we went out, right? Yeah. Let's say we went out to a party.
Sure.
And everyone else is dressed up.
Sure.
What the only thing different there is there's 2 seconds of people being like, nice costume. And then I'm just at a party. I would rather just go to a party.
That's how I feel at a party, regardless of whether it's a Halloween party.
Fair enough.
If I'm at a wedding, I'm mad that I have to go.
I know you
wear a suit.
I know you.
But you could take pictures and look back on it later and be like, oh yeah,
that's real. That's super real. Here's the thing: I could do that any time of year, though. What I'm saying is, if I could if I'm putting in all this effort to dress up just so I can take a picture and look back on the memory, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it for me.
But if you look back at the memory, don't you want to think I was so comfortable and in my own skin and happy at that time at that beautiful wedding, rather than hey, remember that time I had to go to Target at 9 p.m. the day before the wedding and buy a fucking blazer because I would
fuck that noise.
I don't know, that's kind of how I feel. However, one of the other things about Halloween that is different between you and I is that Kelly is always making costumes.
There you go. Costumes. See, that's definitely worth it for her.
Sort of.
She does it.
It's more it's nothing to her to make to throw a costume together.
If the investment is nothing to her, then of course it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all returns for her. So good for her.
So
once again, I'm not saying costumes are dumb.
No judgment, of course. Yeah.
I'm just saying, what will I be dressing up as? Fucking me and doing nothing because I just can't be bothered. I can't.
I never. I'm trying to think of the last time I dressed as a licensed character,
a licensed family therapist.
Well, I think it's just from my reluctance to get dressed that I wait until the idea of shopping for a costume becomes impossible. It's October 29th and you want to go to Spirit Halloween and it's I don't even know, the market in 1725, England. I don't even know what it is in there. But I usually dress as something generic. For a long time, my go-to was a hippie because it's I'm 60% of the way there.
Yeah, you're practically there, man.
Yeah, but you just put a little. I found that my mom had this little she called it her hair feather.
Oh,
and I had it for a long time, in my little hippie accoutrement
costume kit.
Yeah, I had a little vest because I don't wear vests in real life, but in the 60s, you throw a little vest over your plaid or whatever, it looks a little bit more hippie-ish.
Sure.
I had some bell-bottom pants. My real hair was down past my shoulders at the time.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'd take the hair feather and I'd clip it into my hair, and it was a little leather piece, little strip of leather, and then at the end is a little bead and a yellow clump of feathers.
Very 70s.
But I found out after the fact that it was actually her fucking roach clip.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It was her roach clip that I was just putting in my hair.
You were doubly authentic.
Yeah. I was the realest hippie ever, and I never knew. But this year I was a necromancer again because Ruby's wedding was a cosplay wedding.
Right.
And I dressed as a necromancer, or actually I was Stregobor from The Witcher specifically at that. But in this case, I just put a strange coin around my neck that I got from the Destiny special edition. And I wore my glasses and I was just a necromancer.
Well, what are you going to be for this Halloween?
For the real day?
Sure.
I was thinking I was going to be Constantine, but then I realized that if I put that on, that I would just look like Columbo. So I might be
Columbo.
I might be Columbo. Yeah.
And if anyone asks you, are you Constantine? Be like, yes. Yeah. Hey, are you Columbo?
Yes.
Yes. You're a mortician, right?
Yes.
There you go.
But yeah, Kelly was Death from Sandman.
Sure.
She read Sandman recently. She loves the character Death. And at the barbecue, she was Death. She was
1 year for Halloween. Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I fucking see it. Just looks like Kelly.
That's the thing that's messed up, is she just had to buy an Ankh necklace
she
and
just
just
looks like
wear her
Kelly.
regular shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe put on some thick eyeliner and
yeah,
you're
she
good.
put on the little. Yeah.
1 year I was Destiny and back in high school, but we all had our interpretations of the Endless.
Uh-huh.
I think I had It was just me in a suit. And instead of carrying around the book and like a cloak, I had on a suit, and I had a handcuffed to a briefcase. So like a modern interpretation of Destiny.
Were you blind?
Yeah, I blinded myself temporarily.
Well, I mean, like, did you put a blindfold on or
no?
You
or like glasses.
Yeah,
like sunglasses.
Matt Murdock vibes.
Yeah, like a secret agent, like more like yo, I got this document. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ted, what about you? What are you gonna go as this year?
Pirate.
And there it is, everyone.
Clean. All right, moving on. You got something for the news?
Yeah, I got something for the news.
What's up?
Did you hear about this black hole man?
No. Wait, a black hole man?
It's a black hole man.
Is that what? Is that real?
It's a black guy full of holes.
No, that's not what I was
Cops
imagining.
got to him. Shame.
That's how you wanted to introduce that story? As the black hole man?
No, did you hear about the black hole coming, man? Did you hear about it?
I didn't. I did not.
So apparently there was a black hole, people that, NASA and everybody had been fully aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of seemingly out of nowhere, the black hole just starts expelling light and plasma and star stuff.
Really?
Right. Now,
really interesting.
That was interesting to me because I'm like, whoa, black hole. That seems like the antithesis of what a black hole is supposed to do.
I'm imagining it being like the beehole, like the black beehole.
Well, the opposite of a black beehole. Black beehole, nothing goes in, everything goes out.
Right.
Black hole, everything goes in, nothing goes out.
Right.
But here's the thing. I heard that about that. Looks crazy. So apparently this black hole consumed a star. And it wasn't until 3 months later that this like runoff, this byproduct got
like a burp?
Kind of like a burp or like a, you know what they called it? So when I looked into it, they said black holes are messy eaters. So think about like
what? Okay.
So a black hole is constantly churning and spinning and sucking things. It's like a spiral, right?
It's hard for me to even imagine what it is because it's
exactly.
But I'm with you. Like there's something that's churning.
But something that we have always understood, and I guess what is the most fascinating thing to me about all this, understood erroneously, is that like the definition of a black hole, if it's anything, is the thing from which nothing can escape.
Okay.
Not even light, right? It's so dense.
Yeah, that's the thing that's strange to me.
It's so dense that nothing can escape once it's close enough in its like orbit, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much anything that's coming out is like an anomaly.
So, apparently, this happens all the time. Black holes are messy eaters. So, like, when, let's say a star, right? Let's say a star were to get too close to a black hole, apparently.
Right.
The black hole would start to, like, suck up like a spiral, like spaghetti.
Like a gravity spiral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like all this matter and light and shit. But like if you were to like twist that spaghetti around your fork, if you will, if you twist violently like a black hole does, you're going to get some runoff, like some sauce splattering.
Like a piece of the star flies off the side of the star.
Don't think about it like a piece, but more like a stream, right?
Oh, like of the already like elongated black hole.
Yeah, you just get like a little runoff, right? A little light, matter, plasma runoff. That apparently happens all the time. I don't understand how it works.
I can't even visually conceptualize that, but I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Like think about it like Deep Space Nine, like fucking like it looks like a, like you can't see the black hole, but picture a wormhole and then just like things just like a string coming out or whatever.
Yeah.
So apparently, so I understand it, that shit happens all the time.
Right.
Black holes are messy eaters. But apparently what made this story newsworthy is because that process almost always happens
immediately
while it's eating.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? So what made this one special was black hole ate the star. 3 months later, it was like, and like some star stuff came out. And so it's making people whose job it is to wonder, makes them wonder like, why did this happen now? What could be the cause of this quote unquote delay? Perhaps there are many things about this star or the black hole itself that we don't understand. Perhaps there are many things about the fundamental nature of black holes that we don't understand.
Yeah, it seems to completely defeat the idea of what I imagine a black hole to be.
Well, it's not even that. The reason I brought this up that I found it interesting was it wasn't the whole 3 months thing that defeated what a black hole was supposed to be. The fact that this motherfucker is expelling anything defeats what I thought a black hole was supposed to be.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought I understood, like there's certain like scientific, I'm not going to call them scientific bedrock, but the closest to scientific bedrock that I've known of, right?
You were sure. Yeah.
Right? Like space is a vacuum. What defines it is that there's nothing there. Nothing travels faster than the speed of light. Nothing escapes a black hole. Stuff like that.
Right.
The closest we've had to scientific absolutes as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
But if there's one thing I do know, it's that nothing can be known for sure 100%, right?
Yeah.
So shows what the fuck I know. Apparently things can and do often escape black holes. You know, it's just weird. So what they're not worrying about, but what they're wondering about is like, why did this escape so much after the initial suck up?
Yeah. Like
interesting stuff.
Yeah. For me, the mess is like, it's a bit earth shattering in the sense that like, I had no idea that it did that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, me thinking about it being this thing that like sucks really hard, like the idea that maybe some of it wouldn't go into the area where the black hole is and it could like fling it off to the side.
Right.
In the moment makes perfect sense.
A little bit of sense, right?
Yeah. But the fact that there's a 3-month delay, now I'm thinking like, are these things alive? You know what I mean?
Like it pooped or something.
Yeah, like is it like a dishwasher creature like the Star Wars one?
You know, there is always that like one theory that certain or all black holes are actually wormholes. So maybe on the other end, that other out portal consumed something. I don't fucking know.
That's my thought, is that black holes are wormholes.
I mean, obviously that thought has been around for a long time now. I'm not willing to say that I believe it, but like it is interesting to think about.
Yeah. Have you seen Interstellar?
Yeah.
That movie, I don't know what happened. I think it was just because I watched it during COVID. For some reason, I waited a really long time to watch that movie.
Wait, are you saying the first time you saw it was like past couple years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it just like captured my imagination, like probably like the exact way that like whatever like scientist was working on the movie, like who like consulted to make everything look crazy like that. Like, I feel like I was like struck by the science of it so much. And to me now, and I don't know if this is something that I held in my brain before that, because I do like space quite a bit, but like,
I like space.
I mean, I think about it a lot, but like after watching Interstellar, I was like fairly sure in my like head canon. I hate to use that in this way.
You could just say belief.
Yeah.
You believed.
Well, it's like, I don't want to say that I like think that this is like 100% true, but it's like,
that's why I said believe.
Yeah. It's like my wanted outcome is that they are
a hope.
Yeah. It's like a hope mixed with like a hunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like a belief.
Yeah. It's like, where does it go?
Where does what go?
Where does the stuff go?
From the black hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. My prevailing theory, or not prevailing, but like the one that I subscribe to now is that it's there. It's just one supermassive pinprick of mass.
They just mush it all together, and then do they explode, or do they become a star again?
I
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Like it just seems like the most logical explanation to me is that it's like a tunnel to somewhere, because like I believe that black holes are known for eating like multiple stars.
They can, yeah.
Which just seems like...
You think it being a wormhole is more plausible than being like a super dense piece of matter?
I don't even know that there's any difference between the two.
Sure there is. One is a fucking portal to space, and one is just simply like think of it as like a marble of super heavy, super gravitational, piece of mass.
But what is it even like in there? Like, maybe,
I don't fucking know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Like maybe it's both. Like, I just don't know.
It could be both.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like, I think one is far more plausible than the other.
Like even the idea that there's gravity like that blows my mind.
Exactly.
Like how it can create the gravity blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there is a physicist out there, maybe not listening to this show, but I'm sure there's a physicist out there who could explain it to me, but it's just blows my mind.
Oh, we are not asking for explanations in the comments, by the way. We will not read those.
Yeah. If a lot of things we ask for, And we read almost all the things we ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things, though, we're not asking for.
Yeah. There's Satchel. You know my buddy Satchel?
Mm-hmm.
He has this clip of Lady Gaga that's like from like some music video or something. And it's like maybe like 3 seconds long. And I have it like queued on my notepad because it's just her laying there and she goes, I didn't ask. And then she just disappears.
Yeah.
And that's the whole video.
Yeah.
And I send that to people.
It's quite useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I used to send also the Rolling Stones song. You can't always get what you want. Yeah. Those are my 2 biggest used dunks. And the baby bottle emoji. That's another one. That's the one when I really want to.
All 3 quite insulting in their dismissiveness.
When I really want to hurt your feelings, I'll use the baby bottle emoji. But you know what? I don't believe that I've ever used it on somebody who didn't deserve it.
There it is.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a responsible
gun owner.
Hater. Yeah. Same thing.
Responsible hater.
Yeah. I am. I'm a hater with a philosophy.
You punish those who need to be punished.
Yeah, I'm like a dictator.
Right.
Yeah. All right, what do we got? What's the center? What's the creamy nougat center of this episode? What do we got?
Let me take a drink of water first. Vamp.
Oh,
I love how your vamping is like mouth noises when you have another person you could be talking to.
And I'm doing this too.
You're literally playing keyboard on your leg that no one can see.
It's funny too because I usually make a joke about Ted playing piano over there.
Please explain the joke so that it's funny to me.
I introduce everybody and then I say, and then we got Ted in the back tickling the ivory.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was almost the Men in Black theme.
Oh, I see where you...
That one?
Yeah.
Not the...
Oh, see, I thought you were going for the fucking the cartoon one.
Oh, man. When they're like... Taking all those pictures and shit, being all funky,
it's hot,
all weird.
It's a hot little tune, man.
That is like that feels like it's from like a game, like a Sega Saturn game.
It's funny you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about that. That's what I want to talk about today was Men in Black.
Get the fuck out of here!
I made that up.
Oh,
that's not true.
Thank God.
I do want to ask questions. You know me. I want to ask questions.
Sure.
Basically, one main question.
Okay.
I'm asking you too, Ted.
Okay.
You should listen up because it concerns you.
Okay.
Do you have free will? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ted?
Yeah.
Wait, say again, Ted?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay. Because I want you to hold your answer, Alex. You came to yours fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So you probably have your reasons why.
I have a few.
Sure. Okay. So hold on to them. I'm gonna go to Ted first.
Sure.
Why? Yes, Ted. How do you know you got free will? What is free will?
How do I know?
How do I know? What is that? Oh, that's where did you go, my love?
Oh, I thought you were talking about from Enchanted.
Oh, I don't know.
You know.
No, I don't know that one. But y'all know the song I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Where did you go? That shit is hot.
Where do you go?
Not to be confused with Tarzan Boy. You remember Tarzan Boy?
That's the one that's...
Hit me. No, that's Return to Innocence.
Oh, no. Okay, it's something like that, though.
It's...
Yeah, that's the one.
Remember that shit?
Can you imagine, like, 2 guys, like, in their garage, like, 1, 2, 3. That's our Tarzan song, man.
That song is hot, though.
I'm not gonna hate. Yeah, it's like in that like Genesis.
You know what I equate that with?
What?
The trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Is it in there?
Don't make me look it up.
Is it? That's the song they went with?
Yeah.
In Japan?
Nigga, where do you think this movie was made?
Ninja Turtles 3?
The movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Turtles in Time.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's what this podcast is about. Turtles in Time was never the subtitle for that film.
That's true. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. The one where they go to Japan.
Yeah.
They were like, oh.
It is in the trailer.
That is not even like an exciting song. It's kind of like,
what? That song gets me hyped.
That song gets me hyped to like go look at a waterfall. I don't like, it doesn't make me want to like cut a ninja. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to like go hit the Foot Clan in the face.
No me gusta. No quiero cortar un ninja.
I don't want to cut a ninja.
Cortar, Jesus.
Don't make me cut a ninja.
So yeah, Ted, free will.
I don't think there's a way for me to know.
But you just said that you did have free will.
Yeah.
And what made you say yes rather than no?
Wait, are you changing your answer?
No, I just...
So you believe you have free will.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
I don't know.
You're like determinism agnostic in a way.
So you're telling me you're harboring a belief, but you don't know why you believe it?
Well,
I don't think that's that rare.
I would have to come up with the same if I said no.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think
I'd be asking you the same question. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But
surely something made you choose yes over no, right?
Right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
It could just be that you want it.
Which is a dangerous thing to have a belief because you want it. That's very dangerous.
Well, this one's a pretty heady question.
Of course. That being said, no matter what we're talking about, like letting one's like, you know, in my opinion, there's no difference between like letting your beliefs be swayed by your desires and delusion. That's the same thing to me. That being said, you said yes, Ted. You still believe that you have free will. Why do you think you have free will?
Why do I think I have free will?
Can you give me an example of something that supports the idea of you having free will?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like what the default, like, oh, I make choices and nobody tells me to make these choices.
Okay, sure.
That's like,
sure.
I would say that's probably like 95% of people's argument for why they believe in free will.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So can you give me an example of a choice you made that no one made you make? It's a weird sentence.
That free ass choice.
Free ass choice.
A double free.
Yeah. Like when I chose to not like use as much single-use plastic.
Okay. No one made you make that choice.
I was influenced for sure.
Oh.
But then you saw.
So to you, there's a difference between influencing someone and making them do something?
Yes.
What's the difference?
You can present information to people or like sway people, but it's still ultimately up to them if they're like, okay, I'm convinced, or that was compelling, I will change my behavior.
So what's the difference? Like, which is which? Like, you're saying there's a difference between making someone do something and merely influencing them to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the line? Can you give an example of, one and the other?
Where's the line?
Yeah. Where's the line between those two? Like, what's an example of like when you're only influencing someone and when's an example of when you're making them do something?
Well, I guess making them do something is like manipulative or the like this person doesn't really weigh in like opposite viewpoints or stances and just like takes it at face value and just does like, oh, everything you said is totally true. I'm going to do this now.
Mm-hmm. So that sounds less to me like someone making someone do something and more like someone who's just literally does what people tell them.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Me?
No, like Ted. Like, would you agree that that's okay? So I'm still trying. Are you still saying that there's a difference between like influencing someone and making them do something? Are you still saying there's a difference?
Influencing someone and making them do something.
Remember, that's a distinction that you made, not me.
Influencing someone.
We can go back even further if you want to the bedrock, which is you said you have free will. And you said you think you have it because you make choices that no one makes you make, right?
Yeah.
So what's a choice that someone makes you make as opposed to just influencing you to make?
Yes. A choice that someone makes me make.
Terrible sentence. We got to figure out something else.
Force.
Do you want to use that?
I think.
Would you agree to that terminology, Ted?
Yes.
So now we're looking for a choice that someone forced you to make.
Choice that someone forced me to make.
Thereby removing your free will.
Right.
Someone forced me to make. I guess like wearing clothes?
Someone forced you to make clothes or wear clothes?
That's true. I mean, that's true. Like societal norms.
Okay. So we can get into that. So who forced you to wear clothes?
Mom.
Your mom?
Mom.
This was back in the day when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you're saying you didn't have a choice, you didn't have free will, right?
Yes.
What about the kids that refuse to wear their clothes? You've seen them, I've seen them.
Yeah.
They clearly had a choice.
Eventually they're forced.
Are they?
True.
Yeah.
How are they forced?
They're either punished or
So you're talking about repercussions, but they still made the choice themselves.
Yeah.
So were they forced into a choice?
Eventually.
How? If they face repercussions, obviously they made another choice. Thus the repercussions. So if you're saying repercussions can't exist, like if it were really a choice, quote unquote, that you were forced into, there would not be any need for repercussions because there would be no need to correct behavior that you wouldn't want. You're being forced into the choice. And don't worry, Alex, I'm coming to you very soon. Trust me. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ted, or no? I can make it clearer.
I didn't say repercussions weren't a thing.
Of course you didn't. But my choice is this. My point is this. You say that sometimes kids don't have a choice and they get forced into wearing clothes, right?
Uh-huh.
I say sometimes kids don't, or they do have a choice because we've all seen the kids run around like, running wild and shit, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what's the difference between those kids and you? Are you saying you didn't have the choice that those kids did?
No, I'm saying like I'm the same zone as them.
So you also had the choice to wear clothes or not, is what you're saying. Or am I wrong?
I did until it was just like
you got like worn down.
I mean, I guess I don't know, but that's what I believe.
What do you believe?
That it was just like such a understood thing of not running around naked.
I wish I could remember the moment that I decided that, because I know I did.
I think the most important thing that you just said is decided, though.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, Ted brought up the clothes thing as like, I didn't have a choice. I had to. But the language that you, Alex, just used, I think is very, very pertinent. You said decide.
Yeah.
So Ted, what do you think? Were you forced into wearing clothes, or did one day you just decided to go along with it and wear clothes?
Well, I think as a child, you're just not really thinking about deciding or not.
Come on, Ted. Everybody makes decisions. Babies make decisions. As a kid, you made 1 million decisions a day. People make millions of decisions a day.
Yeah, but like,
I'm not saying you put a lot of thought into it, but you made a decision. If you put red ball and blue ball in front of kid and be like, you can choose one, kid will probably choose one.
Yeah.
If it's the same thing with these clothes, right?
But
I don't mean to be yeah, go on.
As you're developing, it's a lot of like monkey see, monkey do. Like you're just taking in your environment and mimicking a lot of stuff that you need to like adapt. And
are you saying that mimicry is not a choice?
I think it is a choice.
As do I. Yeah. So then why are we making this distinction all of a sudden? You're drawing a distinction between the mimicry and the simple choice between clothes or no clothes. But if it's all a choice, my question still stands. What?
Well, he said he does believe in free will, right?
Yes, he does. But he said that he also is defining the fact that he has free will by the fact that sometimes he is not forced into choices, implying that sometimes he's forced into choices. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, when was he forced into a choice? He said when he was forced to wear clothes. And I'm being like, were you forced to wear clothes? Did you never have a choice? Because I think you did. I think we all had a choice when we were little and we went along with it. Because it's like, some of us went along with it great, like very easily. As you brought up, Ted, like we saw people wearing clothes, like, I want to wear the clothes. I want to wear the cool shoes or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us saw the clothes and we were like, fuck that noise. Diapers for life, bitch. I'm naked. And then like
they used to run down the street naked.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the parents were like, come here or, right? That or implies a choice.
Yeah.
Come here or I'll beat your ass. Come here or I'll take away your toy. Come here or you're going to be in big trouble. And then eventually we stopped resisting. That's a choice. Would you disagree or agree with all that, Ted?
I would agree.
So once again, and I'm not going to like have you try and I want you to continue to maybe think of it when we come back to you later this episode. I want you to like you and unless you've like changed your definition or belief now, you said that there are some choices where you don't have a choice, where you're just forced into it. I'm trying to figure out if you can give me an example of that. So Alex.
Yeah.
I asked you if you have free will. Pretty quick, you said yeah.
100%.
Why do you believe that?
Well, first of all, I don't really think that what you guys were talking about just now is free will.
Then forget it.
Like,
forget that. Literally, forget that conversation happened.
Like for me,
why do you think you have free will?
Well, like for me, like I don't believe in God. First of all, like I'm pretty atheist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like taking sort of like magic or like whatever, I don't want to like insult anybody, but just, taking like paranormal metaphysical things out of the conversation for a second, right? Like the way that I'm looking at it is in a way where I think that a lot of our perception of our lifetime and what we do is predicated upon our own like perception of time.
Uh-huh.
And in one way that you can say that we have no free will, even though you don't believe in like some sort of like all powerful entity that can like make you do stuff, in like some sort of macro way as a group, like everything that's happening is like what was meant to happen kind of deal, right? Like, I think like you can look at all of time and existence as like a single existing thing.
Okay.
And you can say, regardless of what happens, this is always how it was going to be because this is the only way that it is.
Well, you're talking about some sort of macro view of causality.
Yeah. And I think that's
fate?
What's that?
Like fate?
Yeah, exactly. I think fate is like, if you try to apply fate to science, you get something like this, where you're looking at everything that ever happened or everything that could happen. And you're saying, it doesn't matter what could happen because here's what happened. And that's the time stream or whatever, right?
I think I understand what you're putting down.
Yeah. And so for me, the reason I say that I have free will.
Yeah. Why do you think you have free will?
Is because I am perceiving time linearly, right? I'm not observing it from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I am making the choices that I'm making. Like if I'm not making the choices that I'm making, I don't know that I'm not making the choices that I'm making. So I can't say that I believe that I'm making choices that I'm not actually making because something's telling me to make the choices.
I'm getting lost in your weeds.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying like I'm not making choices. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not about the choices. It's not like free will to me is not proven by the fact that I can choose to do something.
Mm-hmm.
To me, free will is proven by the fact that like everything happened and I'm doing it and I'm here and I'm perceiving it in linear time. And I don't think that the idea of free will even...
I don't understand how...
I don't think the idea of free will exists outside of perception of linear time.
Okay.
And I think that because I perceive reality through linear time, that makes me feel like I have free will, which is why I believe that I have it.
Let's go even more basic.
Yeah.
Not why do you think you have free will? What is free will?
I think free will is just you saying that what's going to happen next is not written in stone somewhere.
Free will is you saying what happens next is not written in stone somewhere.
Like if you go with what
so you're talking about uncertainty?
Yeah, exactly. Like if we're going back to what we're talking about with Ted, just for a second.
Oh no.
Well, you're talking about somebody forcing you to do something.
Oh boy.
Right?
Okay.
And you're saying the choice is, well, you could just say, you know what, I'll just take the bullet in the dome rather than fucking, do my homework or whatever.
Correct.
Right? Like, sure. Like that's free will though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think the reason that that's free will, the same way that anything is free will, is just because I'm perceiving it linearly and I'm actually making these choices and I'm perceiving it from inside my perception.
I want to stay very simple because I want to understand what you mean by this.
Yeah.
Once again, hit me one more time, baby.
I'm
Britney
like
Spears.
A living camera.
Wait, no. What is your what is free will again?
Free will is
like dictionary, bam.
To me, free will is the idea
that
conscious creatures
have
the ability to determine what happens in real time. There's no
slow down. Slow.
There's no certainty to the future.
Slow.
I feel like I'm not going very fast here.
No, you are because you said something and I really want to break that down.
Okay.
You said the idea that what creatures?
Like
living creatures?
Anything conscious, anything that's perceiving the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
The idea that conscious creatures have the ability to what now?
Change the outcome of the future at any time.
That to change the outcome of the future.
It's like you.
Wait, slow down. Let me chew.
Yeah.
That conscious creatures have the ability to change the concept of the future.
Yeah.
The concept of the future or just like the future?
Same thing.
Uh-huh.
Like you are in control of what happens next. It's not something that is
those are very different things to me.
As a conscious creature, you can make something happen as of like based on your desire for it to happen, regardless of like anybody else. You know what I mean? Like the idea that you can, have a gun to your head and choose to be shot, right?
Yeah.
Or the fact that you want to walk left instead of right. Or I don't want to get caught in the weeds of like conscious choices because that's really not what free will means to me.
Okay.
To me, free will is just about you are perceiving the world, and in that perception, you believe that what is about to happen is not 100% sure. Like there is uncertainty in the future. That is free will based on conscious creatures existing within it. That's how I feel. I think if you're not conscious and you're not perceiving the universe in that way, or if you're like, some fucking super alien from outside the universe, from outside of time and space, and somehow you're holding the universe in a cube or something like that, all of time and space somehow.
Yeah. Right?
I think in that context, there is no way to say that there's free will because you're looking at everything that's ever happened frozen in a thing and it's already happened.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
And it even if it's 2022, if you look at it, you're looking at the whole thing and you're saying, oh, that's everything that's already happened. That's not free will, right? But I think that there is free will as long as I'm a conscious being. As long as I'm observing the universe, there is uncertainty. And that kind of goes back to what you were talking about. Maybe, I don't remember if we were talking about it in the episode or we were talking about it in a podcast about the cat.
Schrodinger, yeah.
Yeah, about like how observation changes the outcome of things because there's like this third element.
Sure.
But that's why I believe in free will is because of that. Because quantum, on like a quantum level, there are things that are in two states and then change depending on how they are observed. So for me, that almost definitively proves free will to me in a context outside of like God and fate and magic.
So for you, free will has to do with, is the future set in stone or not?
Is there possibilities Are there possibilities? Were there ever possibilities? Is it possible that something could happen that won't happen? Is something that's going to happen could it not happen? Yeah, I think that's the opposite of free will if you're saying no. Everything that happened. Everything that's going to happen already happened. It's already laid out. It's going to happen. To me, that's the opposite of free will. Not like,
and so you believe
being in jail and being forced to do things that other people want is not a loss of free will. That's just
so you believe you have free will, right?
100%.
So you think that it's not, the future is not written.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'd agree with that.
From the point of view of a conscious person who is stuck experiencing the universe through the perception of time. Yeah.
I guess I'd agree with that. But I guess my next question for you then has to do with like, how far does that extend? Like, we believe, some people would even say we know, right, that one day our sun is going to like burn out.
Sure.
Go the way of every sun.
It's a pretty scientific certainty.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
In a vacuum, if like some fucking big ass rock doesn't come and like hit the sun.
That's got to be a big rock.
Yeah, that'd be
to fuck up the sun.
I'm talking about a big old rock. Yeah.
That's pretty much a certainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I, like you, agree that although it is pretty much a certainty, I think the most important part of that sentence is pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That for all we know, something could happen to disrupt that process.
Yeah.
Whether we understand it or not, and regardless of when that could occur on the timeline.
Yeah. That's why there's not like laws of eating a burrito.
Okay.
You know, like you take a bite, sometimes some cheese falls out of your mouth, sometimes whatever.
That being said,
yeah.
What I do find fascinating is the concept of, although we are not aware of the Rube Goldbergian giant macro series of cause and effect that has been going on since the dawn of time, long before us, and will continue long after us. You know, real butterfly effect, chaos theory,
things that
ripple
exist
chaos.
in some form already that are in the future somehow. The idea of perceiving the entire timeline is one thing.
No.
Yeah.
Like real, even simpler, like a domino effect, right?
Sure.
Real simple domino effect, ripples in the water.
Like the butterfly effect, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like with that shit in mind, which do you, like on some level you believe in that, right? Like cause and effect, right?
That's like kind of auxiliary to this, but like, yes, I do agree that like there's like
things affect each other.
Yeah.
One thing causes another, and so on and so forth. So with that in mind, and also keeping in mind the fact that you think, and I agree with you, that we, mean you and Ted, can't see the ultimate ripples in this lake of space and time.
You can't step out of it. Yeah.
Okay. So, assuming one could, right? Would that then mean that one could predict the future? For example, if someone were to step outside of space and time somehow in a weird Men in Black, I've got the universe in a marble, right?
Right.
And that marble also, you could look through time as well. And if you looked at our sun, right? If the sun burnt out, that would obviously have a big ripple effect on our solar system.
Yeah.
If it didn't burn out, that would obviously have a big ripple effect on our solar system, right?
Yeah, unless that big rock comes.
If the rock came, that would have a big ripple effect on our solar system. We're talking
about bigger than Dwayne. We're talking about a big rock.
But you understand what I'm saying, right? That would be a big event in our little corner of space.
100%.
If someone outside of time,
a human,
I don't know.
Like
if someone goes outside of time, are they still a human? You know what I mean?
That's a big question.
Yeah. Right. But anyway, someone who can perceive, right?
Dr. Manhattan.
If someone or something that can perceive can step out of our time space,
look
at our sun, and go, oh, I know what its ultimate fate will be. Because, well, I guess that's my question. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, once you know for sure what the future is going to be.
I think I'm posing my question as a statement, and I don't want to do that. I want to make it a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for being patient. If someone were to step out of time, Dr. Manhattan style, sure, whatever, right?
Yep. Just for the listeners, giving them something to
they can understand that.
Yeah, get them to us.
No, they know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep things simple, right?
Yeah.
If someone could step outside of time,
mm-hmm.
and then they can go and look at the sun and go, oh yeah, I see how it's all going to go down now.
Yep.
With that sun.
Yep.
Does that not mean that on some level somewhere, maybe just for that being, that God being,
mm-hmm.
that the future is not unwritten for him, for that little marble at least?
For him, the future is
the future of the marble.
Our universe in the marble.
Yeah.
It's all written 100%.
Okay. That I understand then.
Yeah.
Because he can look at it and be like, yeah, because he can see the first domino and the last.
I'm literally saying, like, the key linchpin to my whole thought on this is that the manner in which you observe the universe determines whether or not you can have free will within it.
I think I understand what you're saying.
If you have the option to step outside of the flow of time and like jump forward and backwards and play with earth and reality and as like sand in a sandbox, you're in a different reality now. Like you're not even in the universe.
Right.
You know
You're in another one. Yeah.
So I'm talking about from my position inside the universe on Earth as a time slave person.
Sure. You are a slave to time.
Like a time attack, like I'm like
you're time dependent. You're like a fish. You need the water.
Yeah, exactly. I need it.
So I guess regardless of free will.
Yeah.
What now I'm finding fascinating, the toy that I want to play with is this idea of causality. And because I think I might finally, we're 50 minutes in, I'll finally tell you what I actually believe.
Okay. That's
regardless of free will.
Right.
I do believe that things are set in stone. We just can never read the stone.
Yeah, that's exactly, I feel like pretty much the exact, like the nugget of an idea is at the beginning of where you landed on that. I feel like I had the same nugget of an idea and landed on my very wordy version of that sort of similar premise. I
believe that we are all part of a big, like from the Big Bang, whatever, maybe even before, who the fuck knows. But we all joined, we all became conscious. We all were born and then became conscious that we're all cogs in this big mechanism.
Yeah.
This big Rube Goldberg machine.
Yep.
And even after we're gone, the ripples will continue, obviously. And I think, to me, I think everything is deterministic based on the fact that like
the place of observation outside the universe where you can see that.
Well, even like my choices, right? To bring it kind of back to what Ted was talking about.
Yeah.
Choices, right?
Sure.
Like the ultimate enemy of the deterministic view of the universe is choice.
Right.
But in my opinion, the choices that we ultimately make are based on, those are the effects that are based on the causes that came before. Such as like, if I choose pizza or burger, if it's like 50-50, and I'm like, fuck, they both sound delicious for dinner.
Yeah.
Something made me choose burger. I may not be exactly aware of what made me choose burger, but something did. And it's just a big domino effect going back and back.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that, me saying that isn't saying that I don't believe in free will. I would say that I do, but I don't care about the terms free will right now. We're going into just causality.
Yeah.
I think that every choice we've ever made and ever will make are determined by, just the fucking waves on the surface of the water. And those effects will end up being causes of other effects, so on and so forth. The only thing is that we can never be certain. Not only can we never be certain of how our choices or actions or reactions will affect things in the future. We never know how it will end up affecting things.
Right.
we can never be sure exactly what causes ended up making the effects that were our behavior.
Right.
We can get pretty close and be like, I act this way because my mom yelled at me a lot.
And like
right?
You might be like pretty accurate, but
exactly. But there's
you're
always
still like not that accurate.
Because if you say that I act this way because my mom yelled at me, you can be like, well, the reason she yelled at you is because this happened because of her husband.
You could get to like a building falling down in Chicago in 1910 if you really
and you keep going back and you can be and that building fell down. Like your granddad lost a job because the building fell down. Right. The building fell down because of that foreman, and that foreman did that because they had no supplies because of World War I.
Right.
You know, you can keep going back until the dawn of time. The point is, the further out you get, both forward and backward in time, the less reliable your predictions can get.
100%.
That being said, not predictions, because predictions are forward, but the less reliable your estimations on what the causes and effects were and will be. That being said, even though I think it's all deterministic and we're all part of this machine that was set in motion ages ago, and I think there is an ultimate answer to what will happen to the sun.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it will be.
Yeah. And that's all it takes to really like open up that free will situation. Because another problem that we're having, and that I'm realizing, and that's not it's not something that we're doing wrong, really. It's just almost impossible to conceive. Like, we're talking about the point of view of like outside the universe.
Yeah.
But we're still relating to it in
a very,
in a time slaved way.
Right.
Like looking at something and being like, does this connect to this? Like you're already like taking time. Like like any action that you take is slave to time. So it's
to go back to that example of like, if you were the big alien looking at our universe, all of space and time within a marble.
Yeah.
You could see what ultimately becomes of the sun, right?
Yeah.
You could answer the question and be like, I know what's going to happen. Like, even if like time hasn't gotten there yet, you can look forward and see where the dominoes are going to fall. It's like literally looking at a what is it called? The big domino. What is that called? Like a domino rally.
Like a domino rally?
Like a domino rally. You set up a giant Rube Goldbergian domino rally.
Yeah.
If you look far ahead and like, let's say it takes up a whole mansion house, right? And that's the universe, cause and effect.
Yeah.
You have the giant mansion, and every room and every space in every room is dedicated to this big domino rally that's all connected. Let's say you let's say you didn't even start it going. Let's say you walk into this mansion and you hear clackety, 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 and you're like, oh shit, the dominoes are already going.
Right.
And then you find where it is now. You find like, oh, it's in the kitchen. The dominoes are going clackety, clackety, clack, and you go, great. If you were outside of time, you could go to the dining room and see what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as somebody outside of time, you're like,
I'm still not done making my point, though.
Yeah.
To me, being able to go to the dining room is being outside of time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like you're saying like you're not saying go. You're saying like have the knowledge already because you're not going anywhere. You are outside of it. You are observing it from a place where cause and effect literally doesn't exist because that's a time-based idea.
No, not quite. I'm saying like
you're looking at like the book and you're turning to the last page.
Yeah, or like a future page, right?
You're not like taking the time to like travel through time.
No.
Yeah.
All I'm saying in this metaphor, if the domino rally is happening and the current location of the action, if you will, is in the kitchen, and you look ahead and go, oh, this is leading through this room and this room, you could potentially go to the dining room where all the dominoes are still standing and go, oh, I see how this will eventually come to pass.
Right.
To me, the equivalent of that would be if you were outside of time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then the reason I bring this up and what I think is so fascinating, and I don't even want to get into because it's a conversation unto itself.
Sure.
If you go in that room to look at the dining room, be like, oh, I see how this, like maybe in the dining room, they have this cool setup with like a mousetrap guy flipping over the table and like little water thing and like, like cool shit, right?
Kind of dumb shit they do in Domino's. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you go in that room, you can be like, oh shit, that's going to be tight. Much like the sun exploding, right?
Right.
You have to wonder, even if you're quote unquote outside of time and able to move from room to room like that, you have to wonder if merely looking at that setup the act of moving room to room. Did you change anything unbeknownst to yourself? Like,
if you are truly outside of time, no.
Right.
No way. You didn't.
Okay. So then let's continue the metaphor.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine if you were there in that mansion and you let's say you move to the dining room and you don't even touch a domino. Like, let's say maybe your footstep jostles something.
Touch a piece of wood, shook a piece of wood.
Shook a domino so that it falls. It still falls, but maybe falls in a slightly different way or something, right? Fuck it. Let's remove that from the equation. Let's say it's the exact same scenario, but you're not in the house. You're just watching this process on CCTV.
Right.
And you could say unless you're really that would be oh, now you're really removed from the equation, right?
Right.
But what if the camera movement jostles the air, which you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pauses. So my point is it's hard to think of a scenario where one could observe from outside the universe where they're not influencing in some way.
I would say it's almost impossible for a human brain to conceive of the type of reality that this would even require, where you can take an action and it has no effect.
Okay. So because I basically agree with that, going back to the Men in Black metaphor.
The marble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're holding up this marble.
Yeah.
And you got it in your hand with your weird 3-pronged tentacle hand.
Uh-huh.
And you've this is that little universe, all of its space and time, and I can observe anywhere or any time in it.
Yep.
And it's all determined. I know how it's going to end.
Right.
The mere fact of that big alien holding it, you're not influencing things.
If you are out of it, it's a question of absolutes. If there's time,
you nailed it.
Yeah.
You absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
It's a question of absolutes.
It has to be,
and one has to wonder, in this universe where we've determined that there are so few absolutes, maybe none, even in this question of you're completely removed from this universe's space and time.
Yeah. It's
a little hard to believe, even in that absolute, that it wouldn't influence the universe in some way. Do you agree with that?
I want to change. I do, for the most part. I want to change the word believe to conceive, because it's not about believe. It's it's true. It's it's like being am I here? Am I in this room? Either you are or you aren't, right? It's either you're in a reality where time doesn't exist and you aren't affecting things, or you are in the universe with the time and you are affecting things. Because if you're the alien and you're holding the marble and you too are a mortal being who's experiencing the flow of time, you're definitely fucking shit up. That's the opposite side of the coin. If you do anything, it's the chaos theory. It's if you are in the flow of time and you do anything, you are causing stuff to happen.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do is create a clean room, a case study where a system, a small observable system that is free from the tyranny of influence and left to its own devices to see if causality is a thing. If we made a little, I don't know, a little clock gear system, or a little ecosystem in a glass cage somewhere that no one could touch. You know what it is? It's remember fucking Biodome, that fucking movie?
People make those still.
Can't believe we're getting to this movie in this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But the Biodome thing, right? Where it's the experiment was supposed to be, you leave these people in this dome for a year, and all these ecosystems, we're supposed to see how it operates on its own. Mm-hmm. Basically, right?
A closed ecosystem.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, there's no such thing as a fully closed ecosystem. I don't believe.
Right. Unless you're talking about something that is based on everything I know to be true from my life on Earth, impossible.
Yeah.
But yet, that's what I'm saying. The only way that you can see, that's why in my first little thing I said about free will, the only way that you can say that free will doesn't exist is if you do something impossible, which is you create a closed ecosystem out of the entire universe, and somehow you perceive the universe from outside that, which you cannot do without time.
I agree with everything you're saying. And because of that, I think that the concept of free will is useless. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
I don't even have a definition for it at this point because, like, you know, I told you, I believe in determinism, right? What will happen? There is an answer to how things will turn out. We just can't know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or not. I mean, there may be an answer to how things turn out.
I believe there is an answer.
Like if there's more than one universe, for example, now we're in another situation. Now, like, you know, like many world
then
theory.
that's not just like there's more than one answer for more than one universe. But I mean, for this
it's universe, a mechanism of time. Like, okay, like say, for example, the domino, you know, the camera moves while it's looking at the domino,
right?
And the domino falls a little differently.
Right.
Now you have two different outcomes that both could happen and maybe both have happened.
Yeah, but I'm not getting into multiverse. I mean, like in this universe, what will happen? I'm just talking about this right here, right now.
Yeah.
I believe it is deterministic. However, I don't think there's any point to trying to know because I don't think it's I think it's damn near impossible.
Yeah. I wish there was a better word for it.
Because of that, I think the concept of free will is basically useless.
Yeah, I wish there was a better word for the determinism here because it's not really like linked to like God or something like where
I'm not talking about God.
Well, determinism kind of begs who determined like the idea of determinism is that there's like a plan, right?
We could look it up. You want to look it up?
I mean, yeah, sure.
So yeah,
I think pointlessness is like the nonsense.
I think that's even worse. Like yeah.
Like I think that what we're talking about now is like the roots of like Dadaism.
The determinism is the doctrine that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes external to the will. Willpower and will isn't something that we've gotten into, but this is effectively what I'm talking about. It is not in our control. We are not in control of how things will happen. Our behavior and our choices are like, I have willpower and I have desires and I make choices, but I think ultimately I'm taking responsibility for them. But I think ultimately they are caused by, you know, what'd you say, that building coming down in 1911?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. From the point of view that doesn't exist from outside the universe, it's like free will exists, but we already did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like free will, like we're choosing to do stuff that already happened is like the best way to describe it from outside of time and space is like everybody in there chose to do what they did and it happened and it's done.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. And
sure.
but in it, when you're not able to
go outside
reach
of it,
you are not being deterministic. You are using your will.
Yeah, sure. We're using our will. Yes, we're using our will. We're making choices. We all have desires.
Yeah.
We make choices. We choose forks in the road every day. All I'm saying is those choices are determined by they're influenced by and ultimately determined by our experiences. And those experiences are determined by other people's choices. It's just part of the machine.
Yeah. And that's all already happened from the point of view of Doctor Who or whoever.
Sure. But I'm not even fuck outside of time for now. I'm saying like free will right now, like the concept of free will for me, because of that, because I believe what I believe about the nature of how cause and effect works. Mm-hmm. I think the very concept of trying to determine free will, like what, there's no point, you know.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, the question was, do you believe in it? And I say, of course I do.
Sure.
But yeah, do I think that it is like a core belief in my life that like I need to be able to be free to do whatever I want because it's like glorious and beautiful to be a human who's alive and can do whatever he wants? Mm. No. Mm. It's more like a bunch of dirt in the corner. Like it's just whatever the fuck happened. You know, that's it.
I guess I in the quantum level of free will, no, I don't believe. In terms of like taking personal responsibility for one's choices, like Ted was talking about, yes, I do.
In any meaningful way to a human being,
yes, I do.
Free will exists.
Speaking of which, Ted,
yes.
With all that said,
has that changed your thoughts?
Has it? Do you still believe in free will?
Yes. I was thinking about it. I think free will is just kind of yes or knowing each and every action around you.
So because you are able to say yes or no to each and everything, you believe that you have free will?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to get into this too much because we literally spent an hour, me and Alex, getting into it.
It's funny because that's kind of where we're at too.
Yeah. But because that yes or no, so you're saying that for you, free will is yes or knowing every action. So does that mean that like, does a computer have free will? Because a computer, all it does is like
yes or no.
Yeah, it does like ones or zeros, binary, right? Like,
but it's programmed. It's like,
are we not?
No.
Oh,
not like that.
Well, are we not programmed? Is our behavior not programmed by all of our experiences previous, whether we were here or not?
Looking at a computer's options for what it can do is like being Doctor Who and looking outside the universe and knowing how things are going to shake out. The computer can't like suddenly decide that it's going to like turn into a duck.
That's my point. I don't think we suddenly decide.
I think we do all the time. I disagree.
See, this is our fundamental disagreement. I think that everything that seems suddenly to us was bound to happen. And I'm not saying like, once again, I think that everything that will happen like is set in stone just due to cause and effect. This causes this, which affects this, which causes this. It's a fucking domino effect. We just can't know what that shit is.
If you're gonna like convince me that a computer is like a living,
I'm not
consciousness.
I'm not trying to.
What I'm saying is, if you did convince me that a computer was a living consciousness,
yeah,
then maybe I would agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that a big part of what I believe to be free will and will in general is based around the fact that you are conscious and you are observing.
Listen, I want to get back to Ted. I'm sitting up. Hold on. I want to get back to Ted, but the only rebuttal that I'll have to that is I can easily imagine some other civilization or being, bless you, he's allergic to my bullshit. I can easily imagine some other civilization or being that is so advanced that it would look at us and all our myriad choices that we make every single day and not see individuals making choices,
right?
But rather processes that are part of a giant computer or organism known as the planet Earth.
Yep.
You would look at human beings and see like, oh, that's just fucking bytes, or that's just fucking bacteria. I can easily see the complex beings that we are being perceived not that way, but someone looking at us as no differently than we look at the fucking taskbar when we press Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah, Doctor Who.
Sure. That's my point. So you say like, that's where you see the difference, and I just see no difference. That was my rebuttal, but I want to hear, Ted.
Yeah.
You said you believe in free will because it's you make yes or no decisions?
Yeah.
But based off of what we were just talking about, Alex and I, do you think that a computer has free will because it is also like choosing, not quote unquote choosing yes or no all the time?
I'm going to say no.
Check this out. If I had a coin and heads is yes, tails is no, and if I flip it, does that coin have free will?
No.
Why not?
Because it's just tumbling through the air at a speed and rate.
Yeah.
And it's just following like the laws of nature we've observed.
Yep. So what determines whether it lands heads or tails?
What determines? How high it goes, how many times it spins?
Uh-huh.
How it lands?
What determines all that stuff?
What determines all
like
that stuff?
if it depends on how high it goes, what makes the coin go high or low or whatever?
Like how hard you hit it?
Also like the person, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are we any different? Like if you choose yes or no to go to college or not, right?
Yeah.
Is it not determined by how hard or what kind of air condition? Like if the coin is determined by how hard someone like flicked it and the air conditions, around you and the ground that it lands on, is that no different than like your economic environment that you grew up in and the education that you had prior and the goals that you might have, which are thus themselves determined by like, I don't know, how you were raised? Or is that different to you?
Yes.
And why?
I don't believe in super like nurture. I think nurture is a big influence, but I think nature is a big influence too.
Sure.
So there's like, if I decide to go to college, like there could be part of me that isn't nurture that gives me the proclivities to like yes or no.
What are you talking about? Like a fucking college gene? What do you mean?
I'm just saying like the DNA structure that gave me the personality I have, like that part of it might lead me more to yes or no.
This is fascinating to me and I don't want to get too much into it. It's very fast. That being said, what you just said really makes it sound like you like a point for not free will. Like you're talking about like you realize that, right?
Yeah. But you still make the call. That's the whole difference. You're observing. You're a conscious being. That's the whole difference. Like you can get as much ammunition as you need built up to make a decision, but you're ultimately making it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But once again, I think that whether you make the call to go to college or not was always going to happen that one way, whatever way it turns out. That's
maybe
just basically like on a quantum level.
Yeah. If you're Doctor Who, yeah, sure.
On a quantum level, it was always going to turn out that way. That being said, I still believe in like, choice and personal responsibility and shit.
Yeah.
I don't believe in like you shot that guy and it's like, not my fault. Yeah. Universe is causing effect. You know what I mean?
Fell down in 1911.
I don't believe in that bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, thank you for that. Alex, thank you for that.
Hell yeah.
This was
what
was it? Pointless. No, it was it was refreshing. It was refreshing.
Sometimes you got to chat about the big things.
Small things.
Yeah.
I feel like every time you bring up a question, Brett, I'm like, I know even less now. I don't know anything.
Then, okay, Ted.
Yeah.
What you just said made my fucking day. That is all.
That means it's time to go to the library.
That is all I want to do is make people think that like, shit, maybe I don't know anything. I'm like, step one, you've accomplished step one. You've accomplished step one.
Oh gosh, I'm an old man stretching.
Yep.
Shall we get into fan Q&A?
Sure, let's talk to some fans.
It's time for fan Q&A. Last week's question was, oh shit, where did that even come from?
All right.
That was diegetic, gang. What are some pieces of media you've experienced 10 times or more and in as much detail as possible? Why? That was the question that I asked last week after our 10th anniversary episode. So we got some answers here. First one's from Tim. You want to take the first one?
Okay. Here comes the answer from Tim. FF7 was like a bolt of lightning in my brain when it came out while I was in high school. My first time experiencing the game was when I was hanging out at a friend's house when he turned it on and handed me the controller and I played nonstop through disc 1 without sleeping for about 30 hours straight. I have replayed the entire game so many times I've lost count, but I somehow managed to discover something new each time. I also enjoy watching Let's Plays from people experiencing the game for the first time. There's an ellipses there. And lately, people playing the remake without. What? Is that a period? Oh, my bad. That was the cursor.
That was the cursor.
And lately, people playing the remake without having any prior knowledge of the original is so interesting. And it's almost like being able to play both games with fresh eyes. Almost. The game is a masterpiece of world building, character development, and a story that evolves drastically from where it begins, all while continuously raising the stakes. It also manages to weave tons of mystery and secrets into the world in a way where someone can put the pieces together to have a better understanding of how things relate to each other if you want, in a very satisfying way. People say that your first Final Fantasy game is always your favorite, but I had played 5, 6, and Mythic Quest before 7, and it has been my favorite video game of all time since that first time playing. What a fucking love letter to Final Fantasy 7. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, delightful. And like, I for some reason expected to get mostly movies on this. Just because
I think you're not underestimating, but I think you're misunderstanding the people that listen to this fucking podcast.
It's not that I misunderstand. It's just like 10 is a lot of times to play a game. Like, you know,
some nerdy motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's a huge time sink. It's just
that's real.
It's surprising to me.
That's very real.
This one's from TK. He says VVVVVVVVVVV, a 2D puzzle game.
Can we just call it V from now on?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
This game, very good. A 2D puzzle platformer game about the Captain Viridian attempting to find his lost crew members in a strange dimension with instant deaths, room-based checkpoints, and killer music. The game's always been a comfort game for me, a little chicken soup for the hashtag gamer soul.
Mm-hmm.
First time I played the game, I was just trying out the games I got in an indie bundle. Really enjoyed the music and the simple controls of VVVVVV, sorry. It was easily the best game in the bundle. Eclipsed the others so much that I decided to 100% it instead of finishing the rest. Aside from beating a couple of custom levels, I left the game alone for a few years until I saw a speedrun of the game at a fledgling GDQ, Games Done Quick charity marathon.
This is one of my fucking favorite things that people do when writing.
The parentheses?
Where they like, they'll put the initialization there. It's like they wrote out GDQ and then in parentheses wrote Games Done Quick. And I'm like, just write Games Done Quick.
What that leads me to believe is that they're going to use it a lot more times than the rest of the...
Oh, okay. That's real. That's real.
However...
Not this time.
Not this time.
Very funny to me. Very funny to me.
I left the game alone for a few years until I saw a speedrun of the game in a fledgling GDQ. James done quick.
James done quick. James is like, I think I'm done.
I'm out. I was awed by how someone could navigate through the game, so I decided to boot it up and try and few the tricks myself. Turns out I wasn't the greatest speedrunner around, but I learned the game fairly well and got a couple more completions and finishes under my belt before putting it back down. I ended up picking the game back up again a little later doing round 2 of college. Round 2 of college. Okay. Same. I bought a tiny notebook to take to class for notes and small assignments, but found myself with some major downtime between classes some days. This netbook only had like 2 gigabytes of storage I could use, so VVVVVV was perfect, and it actually ran well with no hiccups, so I spent my downtime during lunch and between classes just knocking out runs of it a couple times a week. I wasn't shooting for a world record or anything, but just really enjoyed trying to beat the game before the next class. Eventually could beat the game a little under an hour each time.
I think TK's choice perfectly is like a perfect response to what you thought about the Final Fantasy VII. Like, this is such a potentially small game if you get really good at it.
Yeah.
Like, this is something
much more like within the realm of something that I was imagining.
Yeah, you could definitely do this. Yeah. More like I can imagine someone beating this 10 times or more. Sure.
Like, I love Final Fantasy VII. It's pretty damn good, and I've only played it 2 or 3, maybe 4 times max, and that feels like a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm sure I realize there's people out there who played a lot. I'm not like a fool, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm surprised that like that's who's listening.
TK, thanks for your words, man.
Hell yeah.
This next one's from Joe Zapp. 2 examples stand out to me. Link's Awakening is the game I've revisited the most over the years. It was the first game that I owned that was just mine. I have an older sister, so growing up, all the games were hers or were shared between us. I had a tradition that lasted till at least till the end of high school, where on my birthday, I would beat the final boss as many times as I could before the bus arrived. What? Huh? Wait. I had a tradition that lasted till at least the end of high school. Where on my birthday, I would beat the final boss as many times as I could before the school. So you're like beating Link's Awakening multiple times
in the morning?
In the morning?
Maybe like pause before and then bam, 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 beat the boss a couple times?
Can you do that?
On like a emulator?
Like, yeah maybe that's what you know what? This might be a young person who like plays. Okay, maybe that's it. Yeah. I've probably beaten the game in 100%. And I I have probably beaten the game and 100% it more than any other game. I'm including the DX and Switch remake in there as well. The second is just Mario. I am counting the Super Show and movie in here as well. Every year in July, me and my friends have a Mario week. Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
The tradition started in 2004 during summer break, and over the last 18 years, we have kept it going. Originally, the goal was to beat all the main Mario games in a week and finish by watching the Mario Brothers movie.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. You and I are having exact opposite responses to this idea.
I would never do this. I'm just glad that somebody's doing this. Yeah.
Because I'm like, sounds like hell.
That's hardcore.
Keep in mind, the most recent Mario game at the time was Sunshine, and we didn't have the obligations of adulthood. Nowadays, the goal is just to play whatever Mario game we can during that week. Normally, I'm playing Mario 64 or Super Mario World. Side note, the day after me and my friend decided on going Mario Week, we found a plush Mario hat on my mailbox. I never found out who put it there or why, but I still have the hat displayed on top of the TV every Mario Week. No wonder Joe Zapp does this shit. Yeah. To him, Mario's like fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like, shows up, leaves
he
clothes.
Made his own holiday.
He left a little secret.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Red Fox, for that.
I could do a much better Red Fox than that. I was going for more just like, generic guy.
Yeah.
Red Fox mode.
Yeah. He is a bit older. Yeah.
Red Fox mode down.
You're there though.
No. Look, Red Fox is even more staccato. Like I've got too much like. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Red Fox mode do mode. You know what I mean?
How do you get that?
Smoke.
It's him and that dude from the Adam Sandler crew that sound like that.
Oh yeah. That
guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. All right, next one's from. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Red Fox. Yeah,
you big dummy.
Yeah, Sanford.
Wait. Do you know who Red Fox is, Ted?
No.
Yeah.
He's from Sanford Sons.
What's Sanford?
Yeah. Let's move on.
It's an old TV show.
Let's go before I get upset. Let's go.
Axed. Throughout my life, I've watched various episodes of The Simpsons without hyperbole, probably more than 100 times.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, honestly though,
nope.
One episode more than 100 times
never.
is a lot.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
That's more than Final Fantasy VII.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Growing up in the UK, reruns of the show were on Sky every weekday from 7 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, The Simpsons are like on another level in the UK. Really? Everybody loves The Simpsons. I don't know. You can weigh in on that. I'm interested to hear what you think about that rather than about astrophysics or whatever we were talking about earlier. With no siblings and parents who used to work all the time, they offered a comforting and familiar voice throughout my young life.
Mm-hmm.
While I don't watch it nearly as often now, and I haven't seen the latest seasons, I still turn it on when I need that comfort.
Mm-hmm.
For example, earlier this year while suffering COVID, episodes of the show got me through nights where I couldn't sleep due to fever.
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons had served an important pillar in my life that has shaped my character and my understanding of morals, and I genuinely believe I would be a different person without the show.
I believe that. I'd be different without The Simpsons for sure.
Simpsons is like how we are with Arrested Development, but like for everyone. People can go, Mr. Black.
Sure.
And you're just like, no.
Much, yeah. The Simpsons is indeed way more popular than Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And an endlessly quotable show.
That is real.
I do dearly love The Simpsons, but I would never say I'm an expert in it or that I've watched any given season more than 10 times.
I would say that I'm an expert in seasons 1 through 7.
I've watched them a lot more than I've watched the other seasons for sure. But I would say maybe I watched through each one because we had the DVDs in my dorm, like maybe three times. I've seen a few of the episodes more.
I think 1 through 7, I've seen each episode probably like 6, 7 times.
Maybe season 4, I've watched a lot of times.
Season 4's.
Yeah. I think the Apex.
That's good stuff. Oh, really?
In my opinion. But that's like, I think
it's close to the Epic.
If I was doing like an analysis overall, I might have a different opinion, but for Alex's
I've been thinking about that for years. I've been thinking about doing an analysis of like scientifically, what is quote unquote,
the best.
I hate using this word, the best.
Yeah.
Episode or season of The Simpsons. Personally, I think the show peaked season 2. I think it like peaked, but then it had a not steep at all, but it did start to like get, worse and worse. 3, 4, 5,
6, 7 years,
3, 4, 5. But like, yeah, this wasn't like a huge, but I think the best episodes of The Simpsons are in season, like the best.
I don't even know for sure what episodes they are. I remember vaguely what's in what season, but yeah, like I'm just, like I said, I'm not an expert, but yeah, Simpsons fucking rule.
As an update, I'm now on season 9, episode 7.
Oh,
what do you think the best season of Simpsons is so far? Or at least your favorite episode?
I don't know, but I like the Halloween episodes.
Sure.
The Treehouse of Horror?
They almost don't count.
They did an amazing Treehouse of Horror this year. Did you see? They did some cool shit. Like, go check. I don't even want to spoil it because they did that thing where they like use different art and stuff like that. It's sick.
All right. Next one is from Wayne. Wayne played Suikoden.
Yeah. So
Played Suikoden 1 and 2. I probably replay them every year or so these days. 2 especially was a big deal for young me, as before hiring it out once from Blockbuster.
is this person American?
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. Before that, I only really played old Sega games and Pokemon on my original Game Boy before getting a PS1 and got games like Crash and Spyro. So I was in for a treat going from action platformers with basic to no real story to these characters actually having to deal crazy stories about loss of friends and family and the cause and effect of war. Yeah, I feel you, Wayne. So are these RPGs?
Suikoden is like, Konami's Final Fantasy, pretty much.
Okay.
They're fucking tight. They have huge casts.
Once again, though, I'm like 10 times.
That's what I'm saying. That's like 1 and 2, like together.
Maybe okay. So 5 and 5, maybe.
But
sure.
even then, like,
that's still a whole lot.
That's a lot.
Thank you, Wayne.
Well, that's still Wayne.
Oh, more. All this is Wayne.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie movies, Snatch and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels movies I used to watch with my dad as a teenager, to the point we would frequently quote lines.
It's like young Stephen Wright.
Then it turned out my high school best friend loved those movies too, so the rewatches kept coming. Yeah, I like those movies too.
I really, really have like a nostalgic feeling for Snatch. Like I've seen Lock, Stock, and I think it's good too, but Snatch, for some reason, I think I've seen that movie 7 or 8 times.
It's very fucking funny. Finally, my favorite comic was Uncanny X-Men 341. Oh, don't tell me. Uncanny X-Men 341. 350 was the Trial of Gambit. So 341 must be the one. Oh, shit.
He does say what it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to look. This is mid-90s. I definitely must have
I will be impressed if you pull this.
There's no way I'm going to be able to do like the exact, but I can tell you what was going on.
Right.
341.
In Uncanny. That's a long time ago.
350 was the Trial of Gambit. Like the reveal. So that means the first previous. Oh. Okay. They were in space.
Okay.
This was when half the team got pulled into space.
It seems like you're headed towards the right thing. Based on what he's saying right there.
Don't tell me.
I'm not going to, but I think you're on the right track.
Half the team got pulled into space from there was like a Christmas issue. And I don't know how many issues they were in space.
What is this, like mid-90s?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Half the team was in space. I don't remember what the other half of the team was doing. So this must have been. What the hell does that sound?
Yeah, what is that? Oh,
What's
it's from outside. Guys? Oh, no, we're good. Okay. I thought it was you watching a cell phone.
I know this is very self-indulgent, but this is like a fun game to play for me. I'm sorry.
Dude, we literally did an entire X-Men quiz show episode last
No, you're right about that.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. So listen, this is my guess. I'm taking a swing.
Okay.
I'm trying to place what big stuff was between this. That's all.
Where are they in space?
I think bumping around the Shi'ar Empire, because I remember that's where Bishop got kidnapped by Deathbird.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that shot of him. This was, you know what this was?
Yeah.
This was Joe Mad's era. So
yes, very much.
340. Sorry, hold on.
Like very much.
350. And then they came back. Got it. I know where we are.
Okay.
That's what was happening. Half the team went to space in Uncanny. The other half was on Earth and dealing with Operation Zero Tolerance.
Oh,
so we were right after Onslaught.
Oh,
Onslaught.
yeah.
We're right after Onslaught. So that's 350 is the Trial of Gambit, which is the culmination of that. And he said, what issue? 341? I don't want to
341 right away.
So 341 was probably like, either still in Onslaught.
Yeah.
So maybe he's quoting that, or it's right after. And right after Onslaught was the Christmas issue that was evocative of like that one issue of like early Claremont where they're all in like New York City having a good time.
Yeah. And
then I think Gladiator shows up. Oh, that issue's sick as fuck. Cause that's the one, like, they never fucking followed up on it. But that's the issue when fucking, I don't even know if it's this one. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that this is.
You're about to know exactly what issue it is in like 1 second. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that. I'm sorry this has gone on so long, guys.
No, this is what they want. This is what the people want from us.
I think this is when they're in space. I think this is right after Gladiator. I think it's Gladiator does it. He like kidnaps half the X-Men team to go to space, and they just got to space.
Yep.
I think that's what it is.
Survey says.
Okay, let me read it. Finally, my favorite comic was X-Men, aka Cannonball 1. Yeah! So I was off by like one issue.
Yeah, you literally like
this
one
is
issue.
what I was like. The issue, aka Cannonball 1v1 against Gladiator. I remember that. Like Gladiator, that motherfucker is like, you know, for out, he's been a heavy hitter in X-Men.
He's like,
his power is literally, he has Superman powers, but they're powered by his self-confidence.
Yeah.
So basically he's really fucking strong. And then Cannonball fucking like had to go 1v1 on this motherfucker. And he's like, oh, I'm probably gonna die, but here we go. And he was like one of the first people to like punch Gladiator into a building. And Gladiator was like, oh, I see you, kid. That shit was fucking hot. All right, let's see what he's. Well, this is Wayne, right?
Yeah.
Come on, what's not to like? The issue was like a DBZ fight. That's actually true. I think I got this issue when I first got into comics for seeing the X-Men cartoon and Batman the animated series. I got a bunch of random comics for Christmas, and this was one of them. This was one of my two favorite at the time. The other was a Wolverine issue from when he was Feral Bone Claws. I remember that. That issue, an older kid who was in the comics tricked me into swapping him from a hollow Shadow Man #1. Still have both though. Shadow Man still ain't worth shit though. Yeah, dude.
Pretty solid.
I definitely remember that issue.
Yeah.
I want to read that again. And yeah, I have that in trade paperback. It was a cool Joe Mad on art doing interiors, killing like the fucking game.
The golden age of Joe Mad.
He was killing the game. And yeah, just it was a cool fight. Like imagine the X-Men are out doing Christmas shopping. And then Gladiator's like, y'all are coming with me.
Come on.
And then Cannonball's the only one there. And he's like, guess I'll stop you. Motherfucker looks just like Ted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Has to bop Gladiator. Sick.
Could you do it, Ted? Could you bop Gladiator?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's confidence.
Okay,
Yep.
but what do you mean by bop? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Mary McCormick says, Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, which are the Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, okay.
I was in high school when those games came out, and I was immediately hooked on the experience. I would play one of the two once a month during the school year, and over the summer would do a playthrough about every other week. I hadn't been a huge Metroid fan before those games, but the smooth controls, improved narratives, beautiful visuals, and portable accessibility won me over in a big way. While I eventually got too busy with the pressures of adulthood to maintain that frequency of replays, I still love the games and hope that they eventually port them to the Switch to allow myself and others easy access to the older classics.
That would be nice, yeah.
I'm going to say they almost certainly will. I really liked Metroid Zero Mission. I liked Fusion too, but I never like it when they like change up the outfit and make it all like 90s. Like that makes me always like pretty like turned off, I guess. Like says nothing to the quality of the game. Just me, like baby Alex standing in the GameStop. Which one am I going to buy? The one that looks like Samus, or the one that looks like Samus is a Nerf gun? And I always buy, Zero Mission it's a remake of Metroid 1. It's great. Thank you for that one, Mary. This one's for you. The last one.
Okay, Martin. I've experienced lots of things over 10 times, but perhaps the biggest thing recently is the 2018 TV anime SSSS Gridman.
Let's call it Gridman.
Yeah, let's call it Grid. Just the past 4 years, I've gone back and rewatched the full 12 episode series at least 13 times. Jesus Christ. At least once every other month for the first year after it ended. Oh, shit. To briefly explain what it is, Gridman is an animated revival of a 1993 tokusatsu series made by the producers of Ultraman and produced by Studio Trigger, with an original story by a past Ultraman writer with a soundtrack by Shiro Sagisu, who previously provided the music to most notably Evangelion. Like Ultraman, it follows a Monster of the Week format with each episode, usually ending with the titular Gridman stomping through a city and fighting a kaiju or two to save the day. Without spoiling anything, because it really deserves to be seen, knowing as little of the plot as possible. The show has captivated me for multiple reasons, one of the biggest being its characters. In particular, its primary antagonists. At first, I watched it delighted in their sociopathic behavior, but at some point, my feelings towards the character grew deeper and more complex than I was ever expecting from a TV show that ends each episode with an action-packed Saturday morning cartoon-esque monster battle. Gridman's final episode makes me cry every single time. Jesus. One part of it is due to the incredibly emotional performances from the Japanese voice actors. Another part is because of a shot of a cardboard box maybe, labeled Fragile, which in context is incredibly on the nose, yet it still cuts me up the moment I see it, even after 13 viewings. And it's such a rich series that it benefits from rewatches. Almost every time I've done so, I've finally caught on to a homage to a classic Ultraman or Evangelion moment, or spotted some other fun extra little detail, like the opening credits displaying director Akira Amemiya as the theme song lyrics go, "I've come to save you from boredom." Sometimes I find a whole new way to interpret a character's motivations or notice a plot point is telegraphed earlier than on my last watch. I audibly yelled when I first noticed that the character that shows up seemingly for the first time in episode 6 was in fact just hiding in the background in almost every episode prior. And so I've watched it again and again with the hope of unlocking some other newfound appreciation for something I love, and as well as the goal of earning my emotional catharsis when I reach the end.
Yeah, and that's Gridman.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Thanks for the write-up on Gridman. This person definitely knows their Gridman and appreciates it.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks,
you went
Martin.
into some good detail.
Yeah, love that. So now we're at the end of the episode. All we have to do now is ask a question for the people to answer next week. And I'm gonna take a swerve this week. Here's my swerve. Every time that I put this form out to the patrons, I get a bunch of great answers, but it's from the same little group of people that are always supporting us. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take responses from the patrons, and I'm going to populate the list of things that I choose from, mostly from the list of the patrons, which you can sign up for at patreon.com/superbeardbros. But this time, when this episode is posted to YouTube, I'm also going to look in the YouTube comments of the episode for a few responses, and also add them into the mix.
Okay, good idea. So a few of the answers to the question that you're about to ask will come from YouTube as well.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So next week's question is, what is your favorite thing? What is your favorite thing?
Can you maybe pose a little bit more open-ended question, please?
You sure?
No, actually.
What is?
No, you're good.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, what is your favorite thing?
Man. A sense of empowerment.
Yeah?
I think so.
Like
the sense of, oh wow, I can do that.
Yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I have a sort of hero that I like read their books and stuff. This person, Jane McGonigal, is just like an interesting thinker who like uses a lot of game mechanics in like ways that you wouldn't expect. She calls that feeling of like sort of like realizing that you are capable of doing something.
Yes.
As fiero, the feeling of fiero.
I like it.
Like a warm fire that just bursts for a second.
I like that feeling so much that I spend a lot of my time trying to make other people feel that way.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, you like cultivate it.
I try.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing is like analysis, criticism. Criticism. I love people who love stuff getting together and talking about it in a way that they all can communicate with each other and understand each other's ideas and like think about things in a way differently than they thought about them before. I really like the idea of criticism, and because it wakes you up to the idea that there's other people experiencing the things that you're experiencing and thinking about them, and you're not involved. I think that's really interesting to me. I think it's better than like I get more out of reading criticism than I do out of reading like history. Even I think it's interesting to think about like when something was written, who was writing it. I love all that stuff. I think criticism is like the history of art or something. I don't know. I like it. That's mine. What about you, Ted?
Getting excited about what I'm about to do, or like just as I start doing it, that I want to do.
So like the excitement that comes from like beginning something that you've been looking forward to.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'll just get into bed and I'm excited about watching The Simpsons before bed, and I'm just like, ugh.
Everything going according to plan.
I'm just like, yay.
Yeah, you're like, this is done, and now this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about being excited.
You know, that really checks out because I really do know how to like bring you peace at work by being like, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. It's going to happen just like this. And you're like, great.
He likes knowing where the dominoes are going to fall.
Yeah. You should hang out with Doctor Who. You'd be a great companion to Doctor Who, by the way. Guys, this has been another episode of Super Beard Show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us on patreon.com/superbeardbros. We really, really appreciate it. We'll be back very soon with another episode. Thank you again for listening. I'm Alex.
My name's Brett.
I'm Ted.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for hanging with us. Wow, Long Boys.
Longboard.
Podcast the movie.
Wow, Longboards.
Yeah.
Oh, Longboard.